the first Christmas letter. I've imagined she hasn't seen her parents since before she left for Bethlehem. She's written over time, so she has some summing up to do. Dear Mother and Father, the biggest, best, most earth-shaking news ever. For unto us a child is born, a son is given. He's round of cheek, bright of eye, fair of face, and has a mass of the most sticky up hair you've ever seen. We've named him Jesus. He's perfect, wonderful, a prince. I know you'll love him as we do. How many times I've been desperate to sit and visit with you. I have so much to tell you. But let me start at the beginning. Before I went to visit Elizabeth, the most astonishing thing happened. An angel appeared to me. An angel named Gabriel. Even as I write it, I'm sure your mouth is agape. Mine sure was. I was returning from the well and sat down for a second to rest. Okay, for a long time. And there he was. I must have appeared as a slack-jawed ruminant. He said, "Greetings, you who are highly favored, the Lord is with you." As he spoke, my soul was whirling all around. So powerful were his words, I remember all of them as if they're etched in my mind. He said, "Do not be afraid, Mary. You have found favor with God." been concentrating on the part about favor with God, my mind stopped at, "You will bear a son." Screwing up my courage, I said, "No, sir, not possible. I have not been with a man." He said, "With God, all things are possible. The Holy Spirit would come upon me and my child would be the Son of God." Me, I must confess, I thought he was nuts. He didn't look nuts, and he didn't act it. He had a gravity about him, and he seemed to be lit from within. I stuttered and shook and was at my wit's end. Finally, I gathered myself and remembered the prayer that works without fail, "Thy will be done." I said to the angel, "I am the Lord's servant. I believe, I will, I do." I wanted to shout after him, "Could you tell my mom? Tell Joseph, please?" I wanted to tell you all of this, but I could only ponder it in my heart. My visit with Cousin Elizabeth was wonderful. I know by now that she told you the babe she was carrying leapt in her womb when I greeted her. That was amazing. I needed those 3 months to be away and think. When I came home, I had to leave right away, and we had little time. Joseph told me we were going to Bethlehem because of the decree. I was so nervous. I'd been away from him and away from you, and now we were going so far away. As Joseph and I walked and talked on our way to Bethlehem, we had time to really get to know each other. He was kind and generous on the trip and understood how very uncomfortable I was at times. He told me of his feelings when he learned of my pregnancy. He was bitterly hurt. Yet he didn't want me to be disgraced. He was prepared to divorce me quietly, but then, Malka gave time, he too was graced with a visit from an angel. In a dream, the angel told him he should not be afraid to make me his wife. That which I conceived was from the Holy Spirit. Joseph was told I would bear a son, that we must call him Jesus, and that he would save people from their sins. Our amazement at this astounding, life-changing turn of events occupied many, many miles. Neither of us could imagine that we were picked to parent the Son of God, a lowly maid and a carpenter. Shouldn't he have been raised in a palace like Moses? I know you thought it was crazy I would leave and travel so far when I was so pregnant. I looked like my own little tent. I knew that I had to go with Joseph, who's descended from David. We were called to be there. The great census from Caesar Augustus was simply a tool in God's hands. We were to fulfill prophecy. reached Bethlehem, it was bedlam. People waited in long lines from morning till afternoon to register. The inns were crowded. People were everywhere. We hadn't adequately considered just how very many people were going to be in this tiny town. There was no room in the inn. There was no room in any inn. My tall, strong husband started to show us stress as it became ever more evident that our little baby was ready to make his appearance. Finally, in desperation, he said to no one in particular, "My wife's having a baby! My wife's having a baby!" I would have laughed if I weren't so miserable. I did not want to have the baby in some dirty, dark corner. I was so afraid. Then suddenly I remembered what the angels said. Fear not. That became my mantra. Fear not, fear not, fear not. Suddenly an innkeeper took pity on us and directed us to the back of his inn where there was a cave dug out of the limestone. There were animals in there. It smelled, but it was warm and there was clean hay. As I succumbed to the ever-tightening contractions, I had one final thought. I've always wanted to go camping. Our baby entered the world in a gush and drew a breath right away. He let out a sharp cry, and it was as if the earth stood still. I was glad I packed linen cloths. I could swaddle him. Joseph and I were still in shock over the miracle of birth, the fear, the stress, the excitement, and with the wonder of that starlit hour. Overcome with exhaustion, we laid him in the manger, and I drifted off dreaming of all that had happened.